My name is Rhapsody, welcome back to Slay the Spire. We're going to continue playing the Watcher. It's the end of the work week, and especially after streaming as much as I did in the previous week, I went out and got myself something nice. I specifically got myself some Jameson Irish whiskey, specifically the Caskmates edition, if anyone's familiar. In particular, it's Irish whiskey that is aged in barrels that had previously held stout, which, if you're familiar with me at all, or rather with my drinking habits, you couldn't put two things together in combination better than those for me. So I've got myself a glass, and we're gonna play a run of the Watcher. It's gonna be a good time. Just a nice way to wind down at the end of the week. Alright, remove 2 cards for losing all gold. I love as this character. I love it. It feels like the strikes and defenses this character let you down more than anything else, because you draw into them and you're not drawing into your retain cards early, and there's like a lot of combos that you want to set up very early, and this character like is very, very quick to get off the starting line. Alright, just murder. Or rather, can be very quick to get off the starting line, and especially due to Wrath doubling the damage you take, oftentimes you want the fight to be quite short. Take a Sands of Time here really early. Very good damage. I'm gonna get another strike out of the deck. Apparently it's time to go thin. I couldn't be more pleased. Eruption Strike and then Sands of Time is lethal next turn. This is one of the reasons that I really like Sands of Time. It lets you reliably try and extend for lethal. Now, Bowling Bash, I have argued that you need to take every single time it first turns up, just so that you can get through the Sentinels combat, and I'm going to stick to that. I really wanted that Protect there, though. Really wanted it. Excellent. Good fight right there. Mental Fortress. Whenever you switch stances, gain 4 block, upgrades to 6. Cut through Fate. Deal 7 damage, scry 3, draw 1 card. Up on the upgrade, rather, it's 7-2 in the base. And then Crescendo, enter Wrath, retain, exhaust. I do like having, like, a Crescendo in the deck, but I don't know if I want to thicken the deck up at this point. It's kind of fine how it is for me. Now, this shop is most likely going to be useless, but it'll get me my 3 elite path that I'm so direly looking for. That's another Bowling Bash, and we can afford it. Yeah, I know there was another Protect there, but especially because not only this fight. Oh my god. Hang on, it's 21 apiece, right? So wait, 21, 21, and then 6 is 42, 48. That's lethal in the backliner. And I'll defend. I know I was arguing that I wanted to Protect, and I had literally, I think, exactly the money to buy Protect there. But it's hard to make the case to not take the extra Bowling Bash, especially when I know the very high likelihood. There we go. Especially when I know the very high likelihood of fighting the Gremlin Knob is upcoming. Slightly short on damage to kill that sentry here. I'm okay taking 2 damage in order to get them significantly closer. So next turn, Wrath Sands of Time is 49 damage. Yikes. I'm still okay with it, though. Wrath. Give that murder. Neat. Preserved Insect. Enemies in elite combats have 25% less HP. I couldn't be happy to see it, especially considering elite, like the whole path is based around going for elites. Cleanse Evil, add X Smites to your hand. Now, Smites did become better, and this card, Cleanse Evil, wasn't nerfed. So Smites might be our strat here. I don't know if we need it though, and it's very slow in its effect. I would consider conclude if it wasn't for the fact that I already have 2 AoE cards. You know what? I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna skip that quite happily, in fact. Upgrade the Sands of Time so that when it double damages, it does 12 more. Because that's the comparison you want to be making. Alright. Not super pleased about the order in which this whole turn went. But, thankfully, when you have enough time to set up, it barely matters. The start of each combat healed for 2 HP, as well as Vault. Oh, yes. We'll be taking it. I know Crush Joints is here, and I do need access to vulnerability right now, but Vault is Vault, and Vault is good. Juicy Bracelet. Normal enemy encounters and normally encountered in question mark rooms. Sweet. So we've got a little bit of a guarantee here. So Eruption, Bowling Bash is 9, 14, 9, 14, 23. And then, yeah, that's lethal next turn with the Center Time. Bronze Scales. Start each combat with 3 Thorns, as well as Wreath. Regen Potion, rather. Yeah, Devotion. Devotion totally fits into this kind of build. More than happy to have it, in fact. I'll get both of the Bowling Bashes upgraded because they're very, very potent next floor. Teardrop Locket. Start each combat in calm. When I thought the deck couldn't get better here on the first floor, suddenly you go do something like that and totally redeem yourself. That's the right order. Lovely. Oh, yeah. Look, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. Enter Divinity on 0 cost and then try and blow up the enemy. Happy to. Excellent. Still got Bowling Bashes left in the deck. I'm going to be taking damage here. I'm okay with it. I'm totally okay with it. I mean, Blasphemy wasn't even at all necessary over the combat at all. At all. Wallop, Judgment, Ragnarok. Okay, so these are really, well, these two at least, are very, very good payoffs for being in Divinity. Wallop especially provides all of the block at the same time as well. Ragnarok is a lot of damage, but we already have a lot of damage from, obviously, Divinity, but also from the 2 Bowling Bashes and Sands of Time. I think we take Wallop. Limiting our card choices is really harsh for us. Limiting our cards played? That's a little easier to do, but it's going to be more restrictive in the future. But I'm going to be, like, thinning the deck rather than adding much to the deck, so surely I'm not going to be adding too much draw. You know what? I'm going to take the Velvet Choker. I'm going to take the Velvet Choker here. There's one path with 3 elites. However, it only has 2 question marks, which is pretty poor underutilization of the Juzu Bracelet for us, especially on this floor, considering we have a Wallop in the deck. So I might take this one with 4 early question marks, then 1 elite, and then 2 late question marks and another elite. There's also 2 mid-lane rests. Obviously, what I'm looking for is Necronomicon, but also I would happily take the Ritual Dagger. I would happily take Apparitions. I would happily take Bites, probably in this deck, actually. block to the unblocked damage dealt. So for that reason, we have to go strike, then Wallop. Miracle defends. Obviously, I was very hopeful that we were going to get either Sands of Time or Vault on that turn. Crush joints conclude an empty fist. Hard pass. Don't need to add them. Find potions? It's the only change I want to make there. So, here's the time to put my money where my mouth is. Oops, misclicked. Misclicked. Remove a card from the deck or upgrade all strikes and defense. We'll be removing another strike. So I know that the average result is better if you bet on the owner, but I always bet for the murderer because I always consider the consistency of getting a bonus more important than the magnitude of the bonus in this circumstance. However, I'm gonna go with owner here. And I get dunked on, of course. Of course. Well, we want the upgrade surely before the elite so that we can hit the Wallop. Now, that's not just 3 extra damage, it's 3 extra block. Now, it's not just 3 extra damage and 3 extra block because we're oftentimes going to be in Divinity when we use it, or, well, usually from Devotion rather than Blasphemy, or in Wrath, so it's not just that, it's 6 extra block and 6 extra defense, or it's 9 extra block, 9 extra defense. Pretty impactful. Sands of Time for the next turn, and blow 'em up. Good fight. Fasting, gain 2 artifact. There's also a Consecrate. Consecrate is only getting better. It keeps getting buffed. 1 second. Let's just quickly check that the patch notes haven't... Yeah, nothing's changed since the last time I read them. Phew. Whew. I'm not yet in the habit of consistently reading them. I do need to get back into that habit. So, let's have a discussion about Blasphemy and die next turn. Because I consistently get asked, and it is a clever idea. I am entirely aboard with all of you. I consistently get asked, does Blasphemy get prevented, the die next turn quote-unquote debuff, does it get prevented by Artifact? The answer is no. In particular, the death from Blasphemy is not coded as a debuff. It's coded as a buff that applies HP loss to the player at the start of the next turn. So what does that mean? Things that can prevent or limit HP loss actually will prevent the death. Apparitions, in particular. Wonder why I want them. If you have 2 stacks of intangibility, at the start of the next turn, you take 1 damage. Buffer, as well. Obviously, in this class, you're only going to get access to that, without, Prismatic Shard or something like that. You're only going to get access to that using the Fossilized Helix, but Fossilized Helix can prevent it. Ridiculous. It's coded as a buff specifically. Well, I mean, it's coded as a power on you and not as a debuff, which is a buff in this game. It wouldn't be right if you could fasting and just like triple enter Divinity on turns easily. And I don't find it wholly inconsistent. We have lethal. Good fight. Nunchku, every time you play 10 attacks, gain an energy. Mental Fortress, Windmill Strike, and Inner Peace. Again, we're not going to want a bunch of draw in this deck, because then we're going to start violating the Velvet Choker. And Windmill Strike, retain. Deal 8 damage. Whenever this card is retained, increase its damage by 2. This grows far too slowly for me. Far too slowly. Okay. Thanks, video game. We shuffle the deck but do I need the extra energy? We shuffle the deck constantly, but do I need the extra energy? No, I think I want the Wallop. Wallop and then remove the final strike from the deck. Game. I told you I love you recently. This is true. I love you recently. Bowling Bash, Sands of Time. Okay, hang on. We Eruption, Bowling Bash, Sands of Time. How much damage is that on the backliner, right? So Eruption 9, Bowling Bash will be 60. Then Sands of Time is 56. 60, 56 is already lethal. Good fight. Unfortunately, I didn't get the Ritual Dagger out there, but I'm happy with how it went. I'll take it. Stance Potion. Shouldn't be that great for us. Prostrate, Tranquility, and Crush Joints. Crush Joints now being pre-upgraded. We don't have many skills in the deck at this point. Blasphemy, Vigilance, Defend, Defend. I still think we take it because having access to vulnerability when you're dealing, triple damage on high damage attacks, it's pretty good. And it turns out it's not bad, that. I will go for the immediate upgrade on the Ritual Dagger. If Ritual Dagger is used in every combat between here and the end of the run, it will insta-jib enemies. This sucks. Okay, so if I Blasphemy and then Wallop, that's 36. Yep, and then this is 45. 36, 45 together is... yeah, just enough to kill the frontliner. Wallop, Blasphemy, Devotion, Defend. I keep my stack of buffer, the enemy doesn't remove it, and we try and get smote, and it do not woke. Look, I tried to make that rhyme. You can't say I didn't try. Meditate, Perseverance, and Carve Reality. Carve Reality is a card that, quote-unquote, draws a card. It's pseudo-draws a card, which is going to have us start violating the Velvet Choker a little more effectively. Again, you can still add some draw and still add some generation. It's just I don't know if I want to waste it on that. Perseverance. Adding a big defend that cycles through the deck here is incredible. I want that desperately. Who's the boss? The boss is the Collector. Yeah, I'm probably going to drop the regen potion for the weak potion. Specifically for the turns where it pivots to start doing those giant hits. Devotion so that it only takes 4 turns rather than 5 in order to enter Divinity. Yeah, it's not as impactful as upgrading Perseverance here. I know how it's pronounced. I'm saying it wrong to annoy people. Specifically to discourage and dissuade pedantry. Ain't nobody got time for pedantry. I'm gonna go for... whenever you retain a card, lower its cost by 1. So... that's good. I think I take Master Reality for safety, though, just to protect... no, I've got 2 Wallops in the deck. They're actually really effective. I'll take the Establishment. I really don't need to get vulnerability on the back line of this turn. We're fine. Okay. So if I Blasphemy, Wallop a target... oh, it should be Eruption, Blasphemy, Wallop a target. That's good. Sorry, not Blasphemy. Yeah, Eruption. Right? That goes there. This deals now 36. Finishes off the frontliner. This Ritual Dagger kills the Torch Head, and then I'm protected. Eruption. Blasphemy. Murder. Murder. Stay alive. Devotion, Vigilance, Bowling Bash. Not bad. Alright. Let's... Bowling Bash you two. Completely remove you. Eruption Vigilance. Not too happy to play the Vault there, especially considering these turns are coming up. Crush Joints, Wallop. Can weaken the enemy here if I want. I don't really care about my score in this fight though, so no. Hold that weakness potion. Can you stop constantly summoning chumps here? Like, you're actually doing it way too much. Way too much. I mean, if I just use Eruption, I could have ended the fight that turn. Yeah, not that it makes any difference at that point. Lesson Learned, Vault, and Master Reality. Lesson Learned doesn't have many upgrades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Never mind. It does. I don't think we need extra energy. I really don't. I think we've been doing quite well, in fact. We may want fusion. Well, never mind, because, if it costs us nothing. I know that Black Star is here, but Black Star offered after the second boss fight feels awful. I'll take the slight extra energy. Okay, have a look at the path. 3 elite path. 3 other question marks as well. Not bad, not bad. There's no alternative that I care about. Teardrop Locket is so powerful. Oh, it's good. Whew, it's real good. Oh, damn, it's incredible. It's a 2 extra energy pump, and it fixes the possibility with this character that you get the wrong thing at the wrong time and have a bad time as a direct result. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the fact that we're not going to be killing with Lesson Learned or Ritual Dagger here, but I'm not... Hang on! What do you mean I'm not taking that hit, Ryan? The enemy isn't hitting you. You have buffer. Well, at least my choice was made for me. That's another devotion. Now we need only one of those devotions upgraded. Upgrade all cards. You can no longer heal. Obviously don't need that here. Good turn. Our most used... our turn where we used the most stuff still didn't violate the Velvet Choker. So, if you were worried about the Velvet Choker earlier as I picked it up, I hope at this point you will be comfortable with the fact that it was exclusively good. And correct. Unceasing top whenever you have no cards in your hand, draw a card. Look, that was never going to be active for this build. We put a bunch of Wallops in it. Come on. Hard pass. I know Swivel would allow us to place some of our more expensive attacks like the Wallop and stuff, but also it's a very pitiful amount of defense and I need both of them in the same hand. I don't really care about that at this point. We already have consistency of defense from our Wallops and stuff like that. More colorless cards. I could do it. Deep Breath would have made sense. If I had have picked up earlier the Sundial, but we avoided that in that shop, so I'm probably gonna skip. I do like Dark Shackles just as a really, really viable defensive option. Enlightenment. Wallop. Wallop. Lessons learned. Vault. Sands of Time. Eruption. Vigilance. Yeah, we're going to take an Enlightenment. We don't have energy problems. So we don't take Enlightenment. Why would we? Right? Yes, it does look good in the deck. But it doesn't provide any function to us at this point, except for the ability to start cycling using the Unceasing Top, which isn't viable. So now the Velvet Choker has proposed a situation where it actually hurts us. However, it was not reasonable to go, can't take that Velvet Choker. You might get Unceasing Top, as well as a bunch of high cost cards, as well as Enlightenment. Another consideration is the possibility of Finesse, but I don't want my opening turn to possibly be bad. Also, Finesse provides very little benefit. So the possibility of it providing a downside is enough for me to say no. Ooh! Okay, this is the first time that we've seen the new text here on YouTube. So I'll read it out. Serenity. The two primitive creatures. Hang on. Serenity. Two primitive creatures fight over a carcass on the side of a road. You observe, devoid of emotion. Watch. Remember. Live. This is the Watcher's mission. Recently, one of your peers has stopped reporting on their assignment, a spire of unknown origin. As the fight ends, you continue onwards, unfazed by the bloody scene that took place. Whew, took place. I made the same misspeak when I tried to read it out in the stream. Dark Shackle's the back line, Crush, Bowling Bash, and Wallop the front line. That's enough defense by itself. If I play both of these, I obviously draw another card, but I can't do anything with it. Okay. Wallop. Defends. Fine. Ooh, we can lesson learn one of them. Lovely. Always wanted to do that. And then I'll defend and perseverance here so that the buffer takes the hit. And then we pivot for lethal, right? Eruption, Sands of Time, Ritual Dagger. Old coin for another 300 gold. Lovely. Very, very hopeful that we find a shop later on. We can avoid one elite in order to take that shop, or we can try and rely on one of these question marks being a shop, or we could rely on the shop on the next floor. Still not sure which of those will do. Okay, it's defends, Crush, Ritual. Yeah, the Ritual doesn't increase. You have to kill the final enemy with... Oh. Obviously not what we were hoping for this turn. Okay. It's Bowling Bash, Devoid, and then Vault the front line. I'm just trying to set up all of the kills nearish to one another. So we'll Eruption you, Sands of Time you, and then Lessons Learned to actually get an upgrade. Devotion got hit. Lovely. Good enough. Flex Potion. Interesting. Maybe. Flying Sleeves retains. Nah, hard pass. Hard pass. In fact, on all of it. I'll recall here because I don't want to rest for so little. Okay. Depending on the opening draw, this could have just been instantly dunk the enemies. Sadly not. I'm gonna Dark Shackles you just so that I don't take damage. Also, you with -9 strength means that I can actually go into Eruption here and be fine. Because double no damage is still no damage. Okay. I'm gonna Lesson Learn the backliner. Crush Joints the frontliner. I'll pivot into Vigilance because I'm probably just going to try and get into Divinity before I do any more attacking. Sweet. And that's Divinity. Got him. Incense burner every 6 turns, gain an intangible. So if I know I'm getting intangible next turn, again, I can go into Blasphemy. Look. I don't tell the Spire how to do, but I'm glad it do how it do. For the same reason as in the previous fight, we can pivot into aggression against this enemy happily. Not a huge fan of not being able to get Devotion out there. I really wish I was in Wrath form already. Oh, God. Yeah, this is going to be the first hit we take. Is it? No, I could Blasphemy and then Lessons Learned for 30 and then Eruption for 27? Yeah, and then Defend after that, and then the buffer. Like, I was going to lose the buffer this turn anyway, so I may as well deal damage, right? Crush Joints. Big ol' Wallop. Pop out a Devotion as well. Probably should have burnt the Dark Shackles there, because I ideally don't want to draw them this turn. There is no next turn, so it's time to Blaspheme. Sweet. Conclude Weave, Mental Fortress, Hard Pass again. Look, okay, the deck now has 20 cards. I can hardly argue that it's thin. Dang. I've lost all the thin deck daddy credibility I had. Yeah, we've got to go for that. Pendib is ridiculous as his character. Every 10th attack you play deals double damage. Absolutely insane. Card removal on the unupgraded Defend seems correct. Should I Sling of Courage? Adaptation, like, I do swap stances occasionally. It's just, I don't think I want an extra card. Because then 2 times I have to switch stances after this before I'm actually getting a benefit. Sling of Courage would be good in this fight and, like, slightly helpful in another afterward. Yeah, I'm gonna hard pass these. Because, again, either of these could be a shop, and they're not gonna be fights because the Jutsu Bracelet. So definitely either could be a shop. I'm gonna Dark Shackles just to activate Crush Joints. And then I'm going to realize that I should have done that after I did Eruption. And then after that, I'm going to realize I still have Lethal. You knew how that whole thing was going. From the whole outset. You can't prove otherwise. And then Miracle Wallop. Take no damage and try and get the Ritual Dagger for the kill here. Lovely. Another Bowling Bash? I mean, we do have Donu and Deca upcoming, and we do have the Spire, Shield, and Spear, but yeah, we don't need it. Eruption, Wallop, Bowling Bash. Obviously should have done those in the opposite order. I wasn't considering the Pendib. Like, I specifically drafted the Pendib for a reason, and immediately ignored it. I'm not gonna defend myself well this turn, so I can't Blaspheme. So instead, it's probably Miracle just to activate Crush Joints. And then Bowling Bash and throw that damage out as well. Never mind, I probably could have killed that turn. Wild that. Devotion, Wallop. Ritual Dagger will get the kill. Anchor started combat with 10 block. Love it. Clarity, Bowling Bash, Halt will hard pass. Liquid Bronze is very, very impactful against the heart. Probably more so than the Flex Potion will be for us. Because we don't have a Ragnarok in the deck. Bowling Bash, Devotion, or Perseverance. I'm going to get rid of the Bowling Bash at this point. Happily, in fact. Calibers at the start of your turn, lose 15 block rather than all of it. That's also going to be very impactful for us. Whew! This looks like it's going to be a level 3 Ascension win, as well as our level 3 Heart win. I don't mean to get ahead of myself, but that's apparently where I want to end that sentence. I have no good justification. I am getting a little ahead of myself here. Certainly. Alright. Blasphemy. Great. And we get saved from the smite. Shared the damage pretty effectively there as well, I feel. Okay, I will Vigilance. Eruption. Wallop. Miracle and Persevere. I don't want to take damage in this fight. Especially because I probably don't have to. I was planning on the lessons learned there, but oops. Oh. Just a hard double wallop there. I almost played the Blasphemy there. I legitimately almost did that. Alright. 1147. Not a bad score for Ascension 3 run. Okay, in this shop, I remove lessons learned if I get the opportunity. Every time you play 10 cards, draw a card. So that's not going to trigger more than one time in a turn, which means it won't violate the Velvet Choker. Right? 6 cards in a turn is fine. Using the orange pellets in order to dispel all debuffs, specifically in the heart fight, is going to be impactful. So we'll take that. We'll remove the lessons learned from the deck now. I'm leaning towards the ink bottle. Yeah, we attack every turn. I'm leaning towards the ink bottle pretty heavily. And then we'd only take fasting if we hadn't taken the prior. Alright. We've got this. Okay. Eruption, Sands of Time. I'm gonna crush those joints as well. I really should have looked at the pen nib. Oy, Ryan. Oh god. This is not good. Alright. Thank heck we had the buffer. Back of preparation, start of combat, draw 2 additional cards, as well as pre-upgraded fasting. Again, no. I mean, I could blaspheme this turn, but I mean, I will end up losing the buffer. No, I'm not going to blaspheme. We do have a devotion in the opening hand, so I could take this. Or I could take the wire heading so I can try and scry through garbage drawers. Yeah, I think that's actually going to be most impactful. I mean, I have another devotion in the deck already. Excellent. Sad to see Vault go by there in particular. Let's get past that. Crush Joints could be useful for the setup for Wallop there, happily. Dark Shackles turns up on exactly the right turn. Honestly, that 10. Oh, that 10 scarcely could have gone better. Golden Dash as well. Heck, mate. No. No, we need a defend in the next hand at least. Good thing we got one. I'm gonna Vigilance Devotion pass. Buffer gets eaten up, but now we're getting into Divinity every second turn. Sands of Time, and then I guess I Vigilance my way out of it. Ooh, and Crush Joints at the very end. Lovely. Especially with the Wallops upcoming. Speaking of, hello. That's going to be effective. I'm going to Eruption, Wallop, Miracle, and then set up Wrath. Sorry, Vault, rather. In Wrath. There's the 2 Wallops. Great. And we managed to leave the form and get into a build that the Wallops are much more familiar with. Also, that Sands of Time just stays in hand. It's fine. You can use it later. Oh, this is such a good heart fight. I love it. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna Vigilance, then Eruption here. Because we get into Divinity this turn anyway. Mm-hmm. Wallop. Sands of Time. Eruption, and then crush those joints. Ooh, get dunked on, Heart. Get dunked on. I think the Watcher's Heartbreaker Ascensions have officially begun. I think they may have done. Pretty dang pleased with the score, and in fact, the run overall. The Velvet Choker choked us exactly 0 times. It has its place, folks. It has its place. For the moment, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Slay the Spire. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves. And hopefully we'll see you next time.